Hello dear students. In security analysis and portfolio management, now we are going to discuss about variable income securities. So under negotiable, so we already discussed fixed income securities, whereas preference shares and bonds, debentures, speculative shares, all comes under the category of fixed income. Okay, so then under this variable income securities, very important thing is like equity shares. Okay, so we also say this as ordinary shares. So all the real owners of the business, so those kind of shareholders, we often say them as, so those shares is called as equity shares, and the holders is called as equity shareholders. Okay, so their income is what varied income. They'll be getting some varied income towards their shares. So again, there are different types under this equity shares. First one is growth, second income shares, speculative shares, defensive shares, and cyclical shares. Let us study all these shares one by one. Okay, so income shares. Basically, these kind of stocks belong to companies. What kind of companies which are running in a stable operations and limited growth opportunities. Okay, their operation stage, okay, as well as their income is what in growth is what, like in a stable way, constant moving form. Okay, so we can say bank shares and some of the fast moving consumer goods stocks comes under the category of this income shares. So since we discussed about banks, SBI, or else constant moving consumer goods stocks like Nestle. Okay, next growth. So growth shares. So these kind of stocks have a high rate of return, high rate of growth than the industrial growth rate in profitability. So the very best example for this growth shares is what, like a software sector stock. We can say HCL, we can say TCS, we can say Infosys, Wipro, whatever, all the software related IT companies. So comes under the category of more than the industrial sector, like growth rate. So these shares is what it's blooming in a faster way. Okay, next is what defensive shares, or relatively unaffected by the market movements. Okay, whatever happens in the market, nothing is going to change. So these kind of shares, these kind of stocks is definitely going to bring any different variety, different form. Okay, so it is going to remain the stable form, that is what unaffected. Okay, say for example pharmaceutical industries, say that is I have given example here as Dr. Reddy Laboratories. Okay, so next is what, cyclical shares. So cyclical stocks usually have higher volatility and are expected to produce higher returns during the period of economic. See, that one cycle is what completed, they expect for high returns. That is what cyclical shares. Okay, so it is what affected by the business cycle. Whatever changes is happening inside the business cycle, definitely cyclical shares are going to affect. Okay, so all the ups and downs, that is what upward and downward movements of the business cycle directly affects this shares. Okay, so yes, we can say as Starbucks or Nike. Okay, the best examples. Next is what, speculative shares, that is the extreme risk, taking up the extreme risk. Why? Because of getting the extreme returns. Okay, so taking high risk and getting the higher returns, that is what the aim of the speculative shares. So Best example is like mining, biotechnology. Okay, all these industries plays an major role in the speculative shares. So thank you all.